that'd be a tough fit for him. I hope that he has the custom-made tailor. Listen, forget about his appearance, Dan. He's a terrible head coach. And the amazing thing about Patricia is that everybody wanted to fire Jim Caldwell in Detroit. And we know how tough it's been for Detroit to try to win over the last 25 to 30 years. That guy had him at least 9 wins, 10 wins in the playoff mix year after year. And there were a whole lot of Giant fans who also wanted Matt Patricia to be the next head coach. Giant fans, I think, have dodged 2 major bullets. Patricia stinks. McCarthy right now looks like a nightmare. I'd be happy with my guy in Joe Judge.
You know who I like, though? People knock him all the time. I'll tell you why I like this guy, McAdoo, because he was the last coach that got in the playoffs. He was 11-5, and they fired the guy.
Yeah, listen, Dan, as good a job as he might have done in the 2016 season, the 2017 season was so bad. Players had quit on him. They handled the Eli situation terribly. And all you need to know about McAdoo, if he was such a hot commodity as a coach, well then why didn't he land on his feet and get another job? To me, that's rather telling. Instead of West Palm Beach, Mike Jones, what's happening, Mike?
JJ House.
It's Mike in East Rockaway, courtesy of West Palm Beach. You're calling under a fake. Hold on a second now, Mike. You're calling under a fake.
Why are you stepping out of bounds?
What's up, bro?
Oh, I spoke to Eddie, another good producer behind the glass. I'm a new resident down here as of 6 weeks ago.
Wow, congratulations. So, I gotta know, Mike, how is the Florida weather? How is the new routine treating you?
New routine, I got friends, cousins down here. I'm in like I said to Rich and Neil last week, I'm in a West Palm Beach state of mind, John. And I'm by the marina right now at Boynton Beach. Got friends down here. And I just said hello to Eddie. I said, let me see who's on the fan now. John, I'll never forget the time. I'll make it quick. I'm sure you got a lot of people online. When I met you and Brian, at the golf course in Oceanside. Okay? And what a blast that was. I couldn't even get out of my Tacoma because I had 2 teeth pulled that day. I was like, I almost hit the canvas on that. But, John, your show is always aces. You mentioned before, I'm a long-time Met fan, Jet fan. I can't even talk about the Jets. But what you touched on earlier, Joe Judge, I give this guy a lot of credit. He's a no-nonsense coach. If worse comes to worse, he'll get into a verbal sparring match with a coach, and then beyond that, and he's no-nonsense. It's like a division nobody wants to win. Nobody even wants to go 500,
Oh, there's not for Mike, let's be honest, there's not a prayer anybody going 500 in the division. And it's the best of the worst. But, if the Giants go from 1-7, and let's say they get to 7 wins or they get to 6 wins and they win this division, take it. I mean, I'm not saying that winning the division now is something that I'd be like thumping my chest and pounding my chest about. But at the very least, it shows you a sign of progress for the franchise, a step in the right direction for the franchise. And that, to me, is more important than anything else.
Without a doubt, John. And you're a Miami Fish. I watched the Jets at Hofstra for 40 years. The last game with Shea, Terry Bradshaw Steelers, that was 83. So your Miami Dolphins are going to love it tomorrow because it's beyond pivotal. You can't even describe what they need and what has to be done with the Green and White Jets. John, always a pleasure. I'm glad to touch base. And Eddie, you're one of the best behind the glass. So all the best, guys.
Mike, listen, appreciate it, man. All the best down in Florida. Happy Thanksgiving. From a Jet standpoint, we're going to get to this coming up at 3 o'clock and beyond. Sam Darnold back at quarterback. So, clean bill of health. Obviously, the Jets feel confident enough in putting him back on the field. And why, to me, any sort of referendum on Sam Darnold from, another team's standpoint or a value standpoint, I wouldn't really put much into it. Considering that you have a coaching staff that's out at the end of the year, a coaching staff that's done a miserable job of trying to set him up in order to be successful. This is just about the idea of Sam Darnold showing he could play and stay on the field. That would be one of my major knocks if I were a team elsewhere thinking about Darnold as my quarterback. Guy has missed way too much time over the last 3 years. I can't have that. One of the more important things you need to do as a franchise quarterback is play. So we'll get into whether or not this can be the week for the winless New York Jets and some uncertainty for the Dolphins about what's going on at quarterback. All right, we got a lot more Giants to get to. Thanksgiving games, all the recap there. Get aboard. 877-337-6666. Update time, 3 o'clock. Here's Erica.
It's Football Friday on this day after Thanksgiving, and we're getting you ready for another big weekend of NFL football, including an NFL triple header this Sunday. It all starts after Mark Malusis and David Neal hosting Football Sunday, where we take you to Cincinnati for the Giants and Bengals, with Giants game day at 11:30, followed by kickoff at 1 p.m. Then it's second half action from Tampa Bay as Tom Brady and the Bucs host Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll wrap up the weekend with an NFC Central matchup as the Green Bay Packers host the Chicago Bears. So stay with us throughout the weekend while you enjoy all of your Thanksgiving leftovers here on The Fan, Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66, WFAN and WFAN FM, New York.
A radio.com sports station.
Streaming on your smart speaker, mobile device, laptop, and tablet at WFAN.com.
Good afternoon at 3 o'clock. I'm Erica Herskowitz. Well, at 3 and 7, the Giants will have a chance to move into first place in the NFC East. They'll be taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati Sunday. The Giants expected to activate rookie safety Xavier McKinney from injured reserve. He broke his foot back in August. The kicker Graham Gano is back with the team today, coming off the COVID list after testing positive last week. And after missing 4 of 6 games with a shoulder injury, Sam Darnold's expected to start when the 0-10 Jets host the Dolphins Sunday. Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is listed as questionable with an injured thumb. Adding to what's become the largest outbreak in the NFL so far, reigning NFL MVP Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson tested positive for COVID-19. Sunday's game between the Ravens and Steelers reportedly being moved to Tuesday night. It's the same game that was already postponed from last night. Ravens coach John Harbaugh told the players they would not be allowed back in the team facility until Monday at the earliest. Bills offensive lineman Cody Ford. December 29th. Top 25 college football going on this afternoon. Fourth quarter, number 17 Texas leads number 13 Iowa State 2016. And at the half, number 24 Iowa and Nebraska are tied at 13. Top 25 college basketball today. San Francisco upset fourth-ranked Virginia 61-60. And top-ranked Gonzaga blew out Auburn 90-67. Coming up, Seton Hall tips off against Louisville. And then tonight, number 24 Rutgers hosts Fairleigh Dickinson. Hunger in our community is skyrocketing due to COVID-19. Don't just give thanks, give back. Join WFAN and Why Hunger to help nourish people now at hungerthon.org. It is 60 degrees under cloudy skies in Central Park at this hour, and that's what's happening. I'm Erica Herskowitz with Sports Flashes at the top of the hour on Sports Radio 109 FM and Sports Radio 66. Listen to The Fan on your smart speaker. Just ask it to play WFAN, powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
Time to stretch Sports Radio 101.9 FM. 3:03 here on this Friday afternoon, hour 2. JJ, John Jastrzemski, we're in for Courtney Roberts, right here on The Fan. Get bored. Want to hear from you at 877-337-6666. And I have a nice little setup going. It's nice being on the air where I got a little lot of sports to dissect. I got Syracuse basketball making their debut at an empty Carrier Dome. Bayheim's back. They're playing Bryant. I have the match on with Mickelson and Barkley. Basically, getting Barkley's golf swing is like the equivalent of getting my golf swing on television. So I'll be enjoying that. That's going to be rocking and rolling. And then we got Notre Dame and North Carolina, which I believe starts in a half hour or so. Pretty big game for the Fighting Irish, who is a 5 to a 5.5 point favorite. So some decent live sports as we move through this day after Thanksgiving. Now, the Jets, as we know, winless. They're 0-10 on the year. The number one objective, the number one priority for the remainder of this season is a simple goal and objective: to make sure they end up with the number one pick in this year's draft. And if that means they go winless, so be it. They need that number one pick in the absolute worst way. And I know they're not just a quarterback away from being competitive. That's true. That's fair. But when there is a game-changing type player out there, and you have a chance to get him, and this season is already rotten, miserable, you name it, finding a way to win would be nothing short of sickening. Against the Dolphins, against the Browns, against the Raiders, against anybody. That's just being real. The Jets will go into this game playing much better football compared to what they did maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago. They've been more competitive. They were in the game against the Chargers. They were in the game, should have won the game against the New England Patriots. They hung in against the Buffalo Bills. Now they have all 3 wide receivers back. And I know Adam Gase's trying to tell you in practice and meeting with the media, well, this is maybe what we thought we could have had at the start of the year. Well, first of all, let's see that with Sam Darnold. That's one. Second of all, whether you get it or not, it's kind of a moot point. It's kind of an afterthought. The ship has already sailed for this head coach. And odds are, no matter what you see out of Sam Darnold Sunday, the week after that, the ship has kind of already sailed on him when it comes to his future with the New York Jets. Like, does anybody look at the next, I don't know, 5 games for Sam Darnold and say, wow, he can salvage what's left of his Jet tenure and he can come back and be the quarterback of this team? Nobody in their right mind believes that. Not a soul.
They fucked him up.
Sam Darnold's auditioning, in my opinion, to play somewhere else. He's auditioning for maybe Indianapolis or Pittsburgh. But if I'm one of those teams, these games, that's not what I'm about with Darnold. Because he's in a terrible system.
He's got terrible coaching. System. He got terrible coaching.
I'm not making my I'm notion on him as a player based upon his Jet tenure. Please,
we gotta bring him over here. That's what other teams is saying. Like, yo, nah, I gotta get him out of here.
Maybe Sam Darnold will be successful somewhere else. It's not going to be with the New York Jets. Jets will be moving on at the end of this year. You just hope they're moving on with the number 1 overall pick. And that's why it behooves you, if you're a Jet fan, to make sure you lose this game on Sunday.
You don't want to win.
You don't want to be picking 2nd or 3rd. No way, no how. That's the intrigue for the Jets for the remainder of this year. See, that's the amazing thing. You would say a team that's 0-10, how in the world, JJ, they have intrigue going into this game on Sunday? Well, they do because you want to make sure you lose. And it's not just the futility of going 0-16. No.
That's it.
It's the reality of what needs to happen at the end of the season. Let's hit a new city. Brian is up next. He joins us on a fan. Hello, Brian.
JJ, you the man, brother.
Brian, I appreciate that. What's happening? What's shaking? What's going on?
You know, I want to see what Joe Judge and his staff is really made of this week, right? You got a typical trap game here. You got coming off a bye week. You got a team who's got their quarterbacks out. The Giants missed a few practices early in the week. Total game where you could take your eye off the ball. I want to see how focused he's got this team in this situation because that, to me, that's what if they come out ready to play this week, I'm like, all right, this is our guy. I mean, I'm already kind of sold on him, but I really am interested to see how he gets this team going this week.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, Brian. Excellent point. Because you know what? I have been singing the praises of this head coach. I think he's done a very good job in his first year. But let's be honest. This is a game now the Giants have not been in quite a while. They're in a position where they are being asked to win. They're in a position where everybody is expecting them to win. So how do you go about handling those expectations? How do you go about dealing with the fact that people are saying you could be a playoff team, that you can go and win a division, that you can do this sort of stuff? You can't have you guys,
a team that's always losing, like the Giants, they losing, right?
That sort of stuff. You got to be
everybody's
focused
losing.
on the task at hand.
You number one.
No nonsense. And I think we'll learn a lot more
Your
about
coach
the Giants.
starts telling you all that.
Coach, rest it away.
You start thinking about it. You go, wait a minute, it is true. You get 2 more games.
You know,
we in first place. You go to playoffs.
He's awesome.
Hotel, nigga, go eat some free food.
This situation,
You start playing better, man.
Everyone's expecting them to take first place this week. You know, they're not playing outside of the division now. They got to, say what you want about Cincinnati.